Welcome. Today I'm going to be making chicken fajitas with cilantro lime rice and Mexican pinto beans. Just like a fajita plate you might order in a Mexican restaurant. The main dish is sheet pan chicken fajitas, where we just chop up the chicken and veggies, marinate them, and then bake them in the oven. It's just too easy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell for notification when new videos are posted. Thank you. So to get started, I'm going to start making the marinade. And I'm just going to put it in this big bowl here where I'm going to put all the meat and the veggies together. Don't even need an extra bowl or anything. We just got some oils and some vinegar and some spices. Bunch of garlic. Alright, just whisk all that together. Next I'll chop up the chicken. Cut off any excess fat or any stuff you don't like on there. Cut it up into little thin strips, bite-sized strips. And I'm using boneless, skinless chicken thighs. They're the most forgiving and I would suggest you use that too. You could use breast, but now the veggies for fajitas is pretty simple, just bell peppers and onions. So I'm doing 3 red peppers, and these are actually kind of huge peppers, so I just end up using 2.5. Now I got our onion. I'm going to cut these in fairly long, kind of skinny strips. Not too long, but bite-sized still. Alright, now we just stir that up with the marinade in the bottom. We just want to get the whole thing coated nicely. And then we're just going to let this marinade while we chop up some other stuff and then preheat the oven. I'm just going to chop up some more stuff for the toppings. Got a jalapeno. I'm going to dice a tomato. And then off camera I did an avocado and some limes. Little lime wedges. I'm also going to be serving it with some cotija cheese, some cheddar cheese. You can just throw anything else. Salsa, I got salsa and hot sauce. Also, I'm going to chop up some cilantro. Now I need some of that for the cilantro rice. I need some for the garnish at the end for the fajitas. And then of course there's toppings. I preheat the oven to 450 degrees. So of course we need a sheet pan for this. And this pan is what's called a half sheet pan, because it's half the size of a full sheet, a commercial sheet pan, which won't fit in your oven probably unless you have a big oven. But so half sheet pan is a pretty common size. And they're 13 by 18 inches. And then I like to cover it with foil to make the cleanup easier. And my foil's not wide enough to go across the whole pan, so I have to fold a couple pieces together there. And I like to try to make a grease-tight seal there so the grease doesn't leak through and get on the pan. That way, when we're done, we just... and I put this in the oven to get it sizzling hot. So I measured out 2 cups of long grain basmati rice, and I'm just rinsing the starch off it here. Rinse it till it's clear, the water comes clear. Then I'm going to be cooking the cilantro rice, lime rice, in my Instapot. So I put the rice in there, 2 cups of broth, and some garlic salt, Set the lid, stir it up, put the lid on. Make sure you set the vent to seal there. And then I'll set it to 3 minutes and let her rip. Okay, the oven's preheated now and the pan is hot. So we're going to put the mixture on there and get it started sizzling there. Cooking on the hot pan. Just want to spread it all out, make it about the same depth all the way around. Want everything to cook evenly. Now into the oven. And I'm going to set the timer here for 25 minutes. So while that's cooking, we'll get started on the beans. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of fat. That's bacon fat. That's optional. You don't need to use that if you don't want to. A couple of cans of pinto beans and a can of diced green chilies. And then all the spices and stuff goes in there. And then what we got to do is we just stir this up, and we're going to heat it up, bring it up to a little boil, and then let it simmer until the beans are the right thickness. That's all there is to it. And it's boiling pretty good there. So the rice is done. We'll let the steam out, and then we'll finish up the rice here. A couple tablespoons of butter, lime juice, and some fresh cilantro. Stir that all up, and then we'll close it up again to keep it warm. Next, I'm going to prep the tortillas here. And I like to put a damp paper towel on the bottom, and I'll count out, I think, 8 tortillas, whatever I use. And then I just microwave these for a minute. So the fajita filling's been cooking for about 10 minutes. So we're going to pour the juice off, and then we're going to heat that up in this pan and reduce it down, and then add it in again later to spice it up some more. The fajita filling now been cooking for 25 minutes. Should be done. I'll just check it here with my instant read thermometer. And yeah, we're good and hot there. Nicely done. But I'd like to get a little more color on it, so I'm going to put it back in the oven. I'm going to turn on the broiler, and I'm just going to let that go for a few minutes. Now don't forget it. Now that's looking a little better. Probably could have let it go a little longer, but I was getting hungry. Everybody's getting hungry. Now I'm going to dump on the juice that I reduced, and we'll just stir that around, get it all mixed up again, and garnish it with some cilantro. And it's ready. Here's our little mini buffet. The fajita filling, Mexican pinto beans, cilantro lime rice, and here's all of our condiments and everything ready to go. Here's my plate. I'd say it looks pretty good. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that notification bell to be notified when new videos are posted.